make a machine to peel shrimp. The invention and the inventor that revolutionized the shrimp processing industry. More than 500 million pounds of shrimp are peeled on automated machinery each year worldwide, much of it on equipment like this, the Lapeyre Machinery Model A peeling line. The automated peeling concept had its beginnings more than 50 years ago at the Grand Caillou Packing Company, a shrimp processing plant in Houma, Louisiana. Plant owner Emile Lapeyre had told his teenage son J.M. that if he wanted to become rich, he should invent a machine to peel shrimp. Automated shrimp peeling was just a dream, but it was an important one. The year was 1943, and all shrimp peeling was performed by hand. Consistent production in a plant was dependent on a labor force that was usually happy to peel the larger shrimp, but sometimes inclined to walk out the door when confronted with a batch of the more difficult, smaller shrimp. Even in the best of times, the work was difficult and tedious. Although still in high school, young J.M. was an ideal candidate for the shrimp peeling challenge with his interest and aptitude for how things worked. His interest in invention was so great that he kept a notebook complete with drawings on ideas for new products. It was a practice he would keep for the rest of his life. It is not known whether J.M. had his notebook with him one particular Sunday morning, but as he relates in this 1982 interview,
I got my original idea, believe it or not, in church. When I was supposed to be praying, I was thinking about how to get the shrimp out of the shell, because my father had said that if you want to make a lot of money, invent a shrimp peeling machine. And I thought, why not squeeze them out of the shell? And so when I got down to the plant the next time, I began to step just to the side of the shrimp with my rubber boots to see if I could not, in fact, squeeze the shell from the meat. And it worked.
J.M. realized he was looking at the basic elements of the automated peeling process, but he needed to test the idea a bit more scientifically. So he brought home a batch of unpeeled shrimp and convinced his mother that her wringer washing machine would be the perfect testing apparatus. Despite his mother's understandable reluctance, he was able to duplicate the peeling action he had observed on the plant floor. He experimented with various roller pressure settings, eventually finding one that would grip the shrimp tail, pull the shell through the rollers, and gently squeeze out the meat. It is the same basic concept in use today, peeling millions of pounds of shrimp all over the world. Emile was convinced that his son's approach was sound and that the project should go forward. His brother Fernand, a mechanical engineer, joined in the effort to develop an operational peeling machine based on J.M.'s concept. These three men would eventually form the Peelers Company. It took nearly 6 years of persistence and experimentation, but by 1949 the concept had gone from rubber boot to automated shrimp peeling, and the first commercially ready machine was installed at the Grand Caillou Packing Company, where a young J.M. had first put his peeling concept to the test. By the end of the year, 6 more machines were placed with other shrimp packers on the Gulf Coast. The shrimp industry had entered a new era. Shrimp processors now had a more dependable, less expensive method of processing their product. The introduction of the peeling machine dramatically reduced consumer prices at a time when other protein foods were steadily increasing in price. Once an expensive delicacy, peeled shrimp were now available to a significantly larger market. That was good news for the consumer and good news for the shrimp industry. The Peelers Company was now in high gear, setting up operations on South Peter Street in New Orleans. Improvements and additions to the machinery lineup followed as the basic peeler evolved into a system capable of processing 800 to 1,000 pounds of shrimp per hour. From raw, unpeeled, head-on or headless shrimp to peeled, cleaned, deveined, and grated product, ready for further processing or packaging, ready for the market. And it all began with a young inventor's response to his father's challenge.